Since PlayStation released in 1995, players have consistently pushed their limits in search for the most challenging games out there. I'm talking Crash Bandicoot 1, Driver, but PlayStation trophies have taken this to a whole new level. I've compiled a list of the most difficult platinums in PlayStation history. These aren't necessarily the longest platinums like Fortnite, that's a different video. But these platinums are skill dependent, where one mistake could result in hundreds of hours lost forever. Here are the rarest, most difficult platinums you would be crazy to even try. This video is wild. It's almost easier to tell you which games didn't make the list. Ninja Gaiden Sigma 2, Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, Jump King, Hollow Knight. While these games are insanely difficult, many players already have these platinums, making the platinum itself less rare. So we wanted to get the games as close to 0.1% platinum rarity as possible. So Hollow Knight and Jump King are way less rare than our first bonus game, Badland. Badland has an 8 out of 10 difficulty, rated at 100 hours, with only 57 people on the planet platinuming this game. Released on PlayStation in 2015 by Frogmind with 43 trophies. Badland is basically a more artistic version of Jetpack Joyride or Flappy Bird, combining side-scrolling while trying to maneuver through obstacles. The hardest trophies are Mission Impossible and League of Clones. Once you beat all 300 levels on single player, you have to do it again, this time with a partner. The problem is, the game does not support online co-op, so you either have to have a couch partner in real life, or try to use SharePlay, which almost always has lag issues. This platinum is pretty simple once you find a good partner. Another bonus game we had to mention is Trackmania, rated at an 8 out of 10 difficulty, at 100 hours, with 316 platinum achievers at 1.24%. Released in 2020 by Ubisoft Natio with 34 trophies. Trackmania is a time trial racing game where players are able to race each other and create their own levels. The hardest trophy in this game is probably You Are the Trackmaster for getting an author medal on 200 official campaign tracks. An author medal is basically the time the developer set for the track, which is above gold, silver, or bronze medal time. This platinum has gotten a lot more popular recently, bringing the platinum achievers to 1.24%. Coming in at number 10, Ultimate Marvel vs. Capcom 3, released in 2011 by Capcom over in Japan with 47 trophies. This game is basically Mortal Kombat for the Marvel and Capcom universe. The series started out as an arcade game back in 1996 with X-Men vs. Street Fighter. One of the biggest features in this game is its tag team mechanics. Each player selects 3 fighters from either the Marvel or the Capcom side to compete. And even though I know nothing about Capcom, who wouldn't want a team comprised of Spider-Man, Ryu, Ghost Rider, Doctor Strange, Hulk, and so many more? But if you want this platinum, you're gonna have to work for it. It's rated at 10 out of 10 difficulty, for some reason at 70 hours to complete, which I suspect it'll take a lot longer than that, with 941 platinum achievers at 0.83%. This game could take you immensely longer than 70 hours due to the multiplayer trophies. Mega good. Surpass the 6th rank of every class. Basically, you rank up a class by winning matches and defeating opponents. But if your opponent wins, your rank actually drops. So you basically have to become an expert at this game and win against every online opponent. But a trophy that's harder than that one might be Master of Tasks. Complete 480 missions in mission mode. This trophy basically involves chaining intricate combos and specific tasks together without missing. Players report some of these missions nearly impossible. This makes Master of Tasks the rarest trophy in the game at 1.35%. The game was also ported to PS4 back in 2016. But the coolest thing I found about this game is you can actually purchase an arcade stick controller. To me, this is the coolest thing, as longtime fans can get that same arcade feeling back home. Number 9, XCOM 2, released in 2016, developed by Firaxis Game and published by 2K, with 51 trophies base game. The game is rated at 9 out of 10 difficulty at 100 hours, with 1750 platinum achievers at 0.87%. XCOM 2 is a turn-based strategy game with a top-down perspective. Players take turns positioning themselves as they command soldiers to eliminate aliens and complete time missions. One of the hardest trophies is exquisite timing. Beat the game on Commander Plus difficulty by July 1st, which basically entails beating the game flawlessly. One playthrough of this game takes around 25 to 30 hours. Players have actually made long spreadsheets for every mission, from how to build your elite group of soldiers, to the best build order, all the way down to exactly what to buy each day. From what I can gather, unless you're an expert, this trophy will take at least a couple tries even using the guide, because there's also an RNG factor to the campaign as well. One of the other most difficult trophies is the Few and the Proud, for beating the game on Commander difficulty without buying a squad size upgrade, which sounds like strongly disadvantaging yourself, but at least it's not on a time limit like the other trophy. And there's another trophy for defeating the game without losing a soldier. Although these trophies are stackable, it seems easiest to do them one playthrough at a time. This easily puts the platinum at over 100 hours. But what if we make some mistakes? Then will it be 200 hours? 300? I found one player that it took 171 hours, and another player at 150 hours. And I would love to know how many hours any of these platinums have taken you guys to achieve. Coming in at number 8, well, it's a little easier just to show you. That trailer gave me chills. Street Fighter V, released in 2016, developed by Capcom with 45 trophies, with 3,744 Platinum Achievers at 0.88%. The game is rated at 10 out of 10 difficulty, at least 150 hours for the Platinum. I've never seen Platinums this rare in my life. The Street Fighter series started back in 1987, distributed to arcades. Shortly after, the game was ported to its first console, the PC Engine, with the name Fighting Street. Street Fighter V caused fans to be all in or all out, with the majority of reviews coming in at 5 stars or 1 stars. Nevertheless, Street Fighter's loyal fan base has been around for decades. The hardest trophy in the game is Let's Fight Someone Strong, for reaching Golden League in ranked matches. It's essentially the same as the Mega Good trophy for Marvel vs. Capcom 3, where you gain league points for winning and lose points when other players defeat you. Which means you gotta get good, kid. Another hard trophy is to complete survival mode on the hardest difficulty without dying. Yes, you have to beat 100 fights in a row without losing all your health. It appears you can refill your health between matches, but it costs money you might run out of. All in all, the game received generally favorable reviews and will remain one of the hardest platinums of all time. Number 7, probably why you clicked on the video, Rock Band Tetris. I mean Tetris Effect. Released in 2018, basically developed by Japan, with 43 trophies. The game rated at 10 out of 10 difficulty, at least 150 hours again. It's basically the same Tetris game from 1985 that the Russians made. It is Tetris, except beautiful graphics are added with music and an added beat to synchronize the gameplay with. So this game adding beautiful sequences is quite a different take. The hardest trophy is seriously, for earning SS rank everywhere possible, which basically involves mastering every game mode and hitting a certain required score. Like for marathon mode, it's 500,000 points, or sprint mode, which is literally how ADHD is caused. How long does this platinum actually take? Well, I have one player that it took 267 hours. Imagine playing Tetris for 267 hours. And then someone else came in at 100 hours who claims to be a casual player. So your guess is as good as mine, but the PSN profile's estimate of 150 hours seems like a good average. Oh, and don't forget the Spin Artist trophy for rotating Tetris blocks 1 million times.
Oh, no.
Number 6, Injustice. Released in 2013, developed by NetherRealm Studios with 51 trophies. The game rated at 9 out of 10 difficulty, taking around 90 hours to complete, with 679 Platinum Achievers at 0.27%. The game builds on several aspects of Mortal Kombat 9 as they're released from the same studio. The story of this game is basically Mortal Kombat, except Batman. Joker basically triggers Superman into a rage, which I had no idea Superman basically becomes the main villain. Arguably, the hardest trophy is World's Finest for completing 240 star missions with 3 stars. There are 10 missions for each character in the game at 3 stars each, so there is no room to skip any characters or missions. Some of the challenges can be done in one match, but other missions require 2 or more playthroughs, depending on how difficult they become. So for this trophy, we basically become Batman. But the other hardest trophy is Ultimate Battler, for completing every battle mode. There are 20 unique modes that we need to unlock. They seem to progressively get more difficult, with the hardest modes being 10 enemies on max difficulty without losing. And if that wasn't hard enough, then defeating 10 enemies on a single health meter will be. And then something happened that changed my opinion on this game forever. I was scrolling through the footage, and I saw something that instantly transported me back to 18 years ago. Do you know who this guy is? Do you? It's Cyborg from Teen Titans. Now I have to go binge watch every episode to fulfill my childhood. Number 5, how fitting. Gran Turismo 5, released in 2010, developed by Polyphony Digital and published by Sony, with 59 trophies. 10 out of 10 difficulty, taking somewhere around 500 hours. Even though PSN Profiles reports 750,000 players, only a little over 4,000 have actually platinumed this game. Gran Turismo 5 is best known as a racing simulator. The game is engineered to replicate physics of actual cars in real life. GT5 also introduced the ability for race cars to overturn for the very first time. And to my surprise, Gran Turismo 5 is actually the second best-selling PS3 game of all time, behind GTA 5. The hardest trophy in the game is Gold Standard, for getting gold in every race event, license test, and special event. I'm told this is somewhere around 245 races that you basically have to be perfect at. But we also need 500 other races for another trophy, and a trophy for reaching level 40. And I hope you're not mad at me for this next part. Gran Turismo 5's Platinum is no longer available. The broken trophies are course designer and proud owner. These trophies require us to create and share a track online and share a photo online. But unless you have a time machine to go back before May 31st, 2014 when the servers closed, this platinum is gone forever. This platinum is definitely one of the most prized possessions out there. And if you're feeling nostalgic, producers made a tribute to the franchise. You can hate me now. With the Gran Turismo movie in 2023. And feel free to let me know if I should actually watch the movie in the comments. I've been excited to watch it for a long time. Number 4, released in 2010, developed by Team Meat, with 24 trophies. The game is rated at a 10 out of 10 difficulty, rated around 100 hours to complete. This game has a little over 1,000 platinum achievers. That's 0.42%, but the 100 hours might not be so accurate. It took many players over 150 hours, 163 hours, and out of a scale between 1 and 10, one player ranked this game at a 20 difficulty. Basically, our red cubed boy has to pass over 300 hazardous levels in order to save his girlfriend, Bandage Girl. This game is a platformer, which means one wrong move can send you all the way back to the beginning of the level. And the amount of handling needed for this game is wild. The majority of trophies in this game are ultra rare, but the Impossible Boy trophy takes the cake. Beat Cotton Alley Dark World without dying. Cotton Alley has many of the hardest levels in the game. And yeah, it seems like most players accumulate at least 20,000 deaths trying to get this platinum. Some of you might be crazy enough to try this one. Good luck. Okay, so we're down to our last 3 games. Diablo 2. Diablo 2 is originally from the year 2000, but the game was remastered to console in 2021. Developed by Blizzard, with 44 trophies, the game should be rated at a 10 out of 10 difficulty, rated at 999 hours to complete. Diablo 2 is about an eternal war between light and darkness. The player's role is to stop Diablo's return. Without a doubt, the hardest trophy in the game is I'm gonna do what's called a pro gamer move. That's a pretty long title for reaching level 99 with a hardcore character. I found a player who was able to beat the game in 617 hours. But it looks like longtime Diablo fans might be able to get it done quicker. Here's one player who completed the platinum as early as 200 hours. Back to the hardcore trophy, a hardcore character only has one single life. If that character dies, it's gone forever. But there's also a possibility of server instability. So even if you have the perfect build, you could still lag out and lose your character. To get to level 99, you have to acquire over 3 billion XP, which also means you have to have a full team on your side to make any quick progress. Players on Reddit also claim most people will lose several characters along the way. Losing characters drastically increases the amount of time this trophy will take. So good luck with that. I'm sticking with Astro's Playroom. Bruh. Number 2. The Elder Scrolls Online was released in 2015 for console, developed by ZeniMax Online Studios, by Bethesda. The game actually has 158 total trophies, but the base game only has 46. The difficulty rating is 9 out of 10, rated around 600 hours to complete. Alright, so when I first heard of this game, I was thinking it was like Skyrim.
Bruh.
And although it takes place in the same universe, many players consider the games very different. The problematic trophy for this game is Emperor, for dominating Alliance War and becoming Emperor of Tamriel. And this trophy is kind of hard to explain. Basically, Elder Scrolls has these campaigns. We're supposed to accumulate alliance points over the course of the week. We can accumulate action points from fighting other players, taking objectives, etc. During the campaign, our alliance has to take the 6 keeps surrounding the Imperial City right here, which can actually take a really long time to happen. It depends on how competitive the other players are. Our goal, though, is to have the most alliance points so we are at the top of the leaderboard. Once we finally capture all 6 keeps, the game will crown the player at the top of the leaderboard Emperor, which is hopefully us. So this trophy could easily take weeks by itself, but there's another ultra rare trophy in the game, Master Fisher, for fishing. There are over 20 locations that you have to fish, as well as needing over 200 rare types of fish. And the fishing is so advanced in the game that you have to grind to buy all your own bait. So yeah, you could basically be fishing for hours and find absolutely nothing. Or you could go fishing like we do in America.
No, hold up. Now, Sam.
Number 1 on the list is Crypto the Necrodancer, developed by Brace Yourself Games in 2015, with 29 trophies in the base game. Difficulty, of course, 10 out of 10. The game is rated around 900 hours to complete. There are currently only 23 known platinum achievers in the world, bringing the percentage to 0.08%. So this game is a wild ride, and I definitely vibe with the soundtrack. The main character, Cadence, has basically fallen into the crypt. She is forced to fight out of the dungeon to the beat of the music. So every movement, attack, pattern, all has to be on beat with your character. The levels themselves aren't too long, but finishing the game isn't the hardest part. Welcome to one of the worst and most difficult trophies in existence. Lowest of the low, for completing every level without dying, with every single character, without picking up a single item or shrine. No taking damage, no healing yourself, no weapon upgrades, no gear, just your own mastery of the game to lean on. The only bright side of this trophy is we get to decide what order to complete the characters. Typically, they recommend going for the harder characters first, but there's a number of other hard trophies as well, like Impossible, right? For completing all zones mode with Coda. Coda basically combines 3 of the other characters. You can't lose the multiplier, which means you can't miss a single beat, the music is double speed, and you also can't touch any gold, which is literally everywhere. But I was able to find one player who managed to get the platinum, except it actually took him 1,114 hours. This game truly tests everything it means to be a gamer. I mean, every game on the list does. And if you want to see the video on this game, don't forget to subscribe. I promise we'll give it a go around 200 or 300k. But my advice, unless you really love one of the games on this list, skip them. Skip them all. Let me know what you thought of the video in the comments. If you're liking these trophy hunting list videos, there's another one waiting for you right here.